This gentleman that I just showed you a picture of, he's an undercover police officer. I'm asking someone to kill my brother. So you understand what solicitation is?
Yes.
Solicitation to commit first-degree murder is what this warrant is charging you with.
At 81 years old, Elouise Leland did not look like someone police would suspect in a murder-for-hire case. But investigators say she wants her own brother killed over money. What she didn't know was the hitman she thought she was meeting was actually an undercover detective, and this was a sting operation, and her alleged plan was about to fall apart. Welcome back to Unfamous Files, Season 2.
Hey, sir.
Howdy.
How are you?
How can I help
Hey,
you?
my name's Deputy Conley.
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
So my name's Deputy Conley.
Colony?
Conley.
Conley.
Yes, sir. Hey,
I'm
so...
Stan.
Hi, Stan. Hey, we got a 911 hang up from this address.
Okay.
Who's
All right. Come on in.
Sir, thanks. Okay. Oh, okay.
I don't know, remember which year.
How long have you been living here?
Oh, me, I'm just been staying here a few months.
Oh, okay.
I own the house next door, but I got tenants from there.
That one or that one?
That one.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Property I had for 20 years.
Oh, okay. Where was that at?
That was just, I had raising dogs down there. Just, my goodness, all the cars here?
Not very busy tonight. You know what I mean?
Wow. 1560 East Fletcher Street is the address.
Oh, okay.
Louise, are you the only one home?
No, my brother and my friend are in the house
Your
there.
brother and your friend are in the house?
Yes.
What's your friend's name?
My friend's name's John.
John.
John Willier.
Okay. Hang out for a minute with these guys.
Sure.
You can go ahead.
Well, this is all very bizarre.
Go ahead and put your hands just like this.
What's this about?
I'll let you know. I'm gonna lock them so they don't cinch up on you. And how does this come off? Is it a buckle right here?
Yeah. This is very bizarre. What's this about?
Do you have any pockets or anything like that?
Here, I'll take this.
I don't have anything in any pockets.
What's your name, man?
Elouise Leland.
Your middle name?
I have Elouise Leland Fox by name.
No, a middle name. Like, do you have a middle
No,
name?
I don't know that I use. No.
Okay.
My husband's name was Fox. After he died, I went back to my name, which is Leland.
I got you. When did your husband pass away?
Long time, 20 years now.
Oh wow. How did he die? I'm sorry to hear that.
Beg pardon?
I said I'm sorry to hear that. How did he pass away?
Well, he was a pilot
Oh really?
for TWA.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a very stressful job. I mean, you know, so he retired, but then he didn't know. You know, when you're used to everything being down to the minute, it was just very stressful.
You said he did what?
He was a pilot for TWA.
Oh, I know a pilot.
That's me.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
But this is so bizarre. Why?
So I'm going to explain to you in just a moment, okay? With the call that we got, did somebody here call 911?
No.
No? Okay. It might just be a mix-up, but just with the call that we got, we're going to detain you for right now, and then we'll
Said I was going to do
figure it out
something?
in just a minute. Well, we got to make contact with everybody else in the house, make sure everybody's okay, and as long as everybody's okay.
Of course everybody's
Yeah.
okay. This is...
Where do you work at?
I'm old enough to be retired, aren't I?
Oh, you gotta ask.
Oh, well, I guess your date of birth, I can figure that out, but you don't look that old.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
That's how old I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you said you have tenants. You do like property management
No,
stuff,
I
or
haven't. No.
Just tenants here, you meant?
you said you own that,
Oh,
but you have the
yeah.
tenants.
Well, they're buying it.
Oh.
I mean, they're buying it. They just haven't come up with the.
Mhm.
They've been living there now 3 or 4 years.
Like a rent to own sort of thing.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
This is very bizarre. I don't even know who would contact you.
We're going to sort through everything here in just a minute. I know it's chilly out here. We're not here to be mean to you or anything else, but we just have to do our jobs. I'm sure you understand that.
Yeah, but I don't understand this.
Well, I understand that you don't understand the situation. We'll go over that in a moment, but we have a job to do, so we'll explain it to you here momentarily, okay? All right, Miss Leland. I've got some news I got to break to you, okay? We're all here today because there's an active warrant for your arrest.
For what?
Okay. It is for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder.
What?
And we're going to be going for a ride, okay? I'd like to get you back to a facility where it's a little bit warmer so we can sit down and try and talk this out. If it's a misunderstanding, this is your one and only time to explain that, okay?
I have no idea what this...
I understand that, and you're probably eager to find out what we know and what we want to talk about, so we're going to put you in one of these cars here.
Sure you got the right person?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we're going to go ahead and get loaded up and head down to the office and sit there in the warmth and have a little conversation, okay? We're going to leave those handcuffs in front of you. We're not, normally they go behind you, but you don't seem like you're going to be mean and fight and try and run away, so.
I don't think I'd get there in car.
Well, as soon as we get there, I'll pull those off of you and we'll be able to have a conversation, okay? I'll let you put the seatbelt on.
I was asked to kill Elouise's brother Stan.
And what is Elouise's last name?
Leland.
Leland. And what's Stan's last name?
I don't know.
And where do they live?
Canis Road over in Hernando with her friend John.
Okay. And when did she ask you to?
It started a couple of months ago. And then a few months ago, and then I had the surgery. And then when I came out of the surgery, she was always coming over, like she was concerned about my welfare, but she just wanted to see if I was healthy enough to carry out this task. And, that's not your decision.
No. So, what is she? You made an injection motion with Stan. What does she want you to do to Stan?
Listen,
She wants you to inject him with insulin.
he's not a diabetic.
He's not diabetic.
No.
So where will the insulin come from?
She asked me because I am a diabetic, but I don't take insulin. I don't know where she'll get it. And ain't me no more.
Has she ever approached you before to do anything like this?
Me too.
No.
No. But after the farm shut down, and she called me up. And she's like, "Are you busy?" I said, "No." She said, "Maybe by late." I walked up. She said, "Man, I need you to do me a favor." I said, "What's that?" She said, "I need you to kill my brother." I said, "What?" I said, "Stanley?" She said, "Yeah, man." And she's like, I don't want to. He didn't do nothing. But like I said, if I go home, and when you said you want to think about it, if I go home and she does something and it's on the news, that's gonna eat at me.
Yeah.
I can't have that.
Okay.
And like I said, she said, if I can't do it, get someone else. Now, if you guys were to give me somebody a little stocky that looks like he can handle himself, and I bring him in as my friend from Spring Hill. She'll tell you exactly what she needs done, and I gotta try, man.
Okay. Mr. Grove, do you swear the testimony you gave is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Alright, have a seat in one of those chairs right over there. Louise, it's kind of hard to see.
What?
Do you know that gentleman right there?
I don't know who he is.
You don't know who he is?
Okay, who is he? What's going on with him?
How do you know him?
I'm just thinking, are his hands behind his back?
Yes, he's being put in the back of a patrol car.
For what?
How do you know him?
I mean, I don't know him at all. Now, he could be that a friend of mine said he needs to get a car, and I said, well, my brother's car, he's had the car sitting there for 3 years now. That, that maybe he could make a deal with him, but that was, I mean, it looks like him, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
This was this afternoon, but I don't know if that's the same person or not. And why in the world is he?
Ms. Leland, there's one thing that I always like to lay out for anybody that I talk to in this room, whether they're a victim, a suspect, or a witness, or anything in between, okay? We both care a lot about our jobs. That's why we're being nice with you. All right? But here's the thing, okay? Our time is important just the same as your time is important. And there's
This
one...
is my bedtime, past my bedtime.
There's one opportunity here to be honest about what's going on, okay? Understand that we're not just run-of-the-mill police officers, okay? We are detectives. You would not be here if there was not certain information that we felt was compelling enough to bring you into this room.
Why is he
So
that guy?
just let me finish real quick, okay? I know that you've got some knowledge of who that man is, and this is your opportunity
Well,
to...
I guess he
Miss Leland,
a friend of mine has known him for a lot of years.
so just let me finish for a
Okay.
moment, okay?
If that is the same person.
This is the opportunity for you to be forthcoming and truthful with what you know. And if I get the impression that you're not being honest with us, I'm just going to end the interview, okay? So I would just ask that for the sake of not wasting your time or mine, please just be honest with me, and I'm going to give you that same courtesy, okay?
If that is the person that I talked to this morning,
Okay.
I don't know why he's in handcuffs.
Do you know what his name is?
I don't remember. It's a friend of a friend.
Okay. Who's the mutual friend?
Mutual friend, his name is Michael.
Okay. Do you know Michael's last name?
Oh, my goodness. I don't remember. I mean, I've known him for years and years,
Okay.
but I don't.
How do you know him?
He used to work for me years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I know you mentioned earlier that you did the wolf dog farm.
Right, yes.
Is that how y'all got
Yes.
acquainted?
Right, that he was.
Okay. So you've known him for a while?
For a long time, yes.
Okay. How often do you
Not
and Michael...
recently, I mean, I knew him a long time ago,
Right.
but not that much lately, except I did loan him some money because he's been through, he's been through a lot of difficulties and all. I did loan him some money a couple times
Okay.
lately.
What kind of money are we talking about? How, like dollar amounts?
Yeah, yeah.
Just dollars, not anything super significant?
Oh, no.
Okay. If you had to guess, are we talking $0 to $50, $50 to $100? Do you have any idea how much?
Well, I gave him some money at different times. Maybe $40, $50, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, different. I mean, yeah, he was a real. I can't talk. It's so cold. Anyway, I know it because he worked for me years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew his whole life story. He'd spent most of his life in jail. Sounded like in the past, not
Sure.
since he's been down here and all that.
Right. Okay. Here recently, how often have y'all communicated? I mean, do y'all talk on a regular basis or no?
Not on a regular basis, but he stays at his sister's and they have a lot of money and they don't want to help him, but they do.
Right.
Okay, so anyway.
Okay. So you mentioned that this gentleman that Dan showed you here in the picture.
Well, yeah, I thought
you were introduced to him. Is that how I understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the reasoning for y'all's introduction?
Because Michael said that Michael's been telling me that this is the first time I've seen this friend,
Mm-hmm.
but he's telling me he works he's a long haul driver or something, and he's got a house here and he's out of town, and his wife, anyway, problems with his wife, and he's selling the house now, and anyway, I just that he asked me to help get him, he just borrowed some money from me to give to his friend, he said.
Who borrowed the money from you? Your friend Michael did?
Yeah, I mean.
Borrowed money from you to give to his friend?
Yeah.
Okay, and his friend is the one that you're saying you met this morning. That's the fellow in the picture.
I guess that is.
Okay.
But I don't know why
I mean, you can look at the picture again if you want to see it.
So, our deputies stopped him earlier. And he had a story to tell us.
They stopped him?
Yes.
Where was he?
Earlier this afternoon. I'm not sure.
Why is he?
Well, that's a different story as to why he's in handcuffs.
Yeah, because
Okay? But while he was in those, he explained a story to us about his meeting with you today. You want to tell us about that?
like I said, my friend Michael has just talked about him, saying all the things, all the problems he's been going through. Michael went to pick him up at the airport, and a deer hit his car and wrecked his car. I mean, it was just.
What kind of car was he driving today?
I don't know cars.
You don't know cars. You know what color it was?
I think it was. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Mhm.
He said I don't even know whose car it was,
Okay.
because he said that.
He told us all about the meeting he had with you today.
Okay. He said, and I told him my brother has this car that's been sitting there for 3 years. He said he's going to need a car, and I said, well, it's sat there for 3 years. Just, so I don't know.
There was some more that went on in that meeting.
You told me that.
Well, I wasn't in the meeting. Okay.
How did this gentleman here that's pictured, you say he was gonna get the vehicle from you that had been parked? Is that right?
Well, he said, my friend Michael told him that I had my brother's car has sat there for 3 years, and he hasn't driven it in 3 years. I guess he bought the car because he was getting divorced from his wife who was out in California. He bought the car, drove it out to California, picked up his stuff and brought it back, and it has sat there ever since then.
So we'll keep it simple. You have a car.
Well, I don't have a car, it's my brother's car.
Yeah, but the car that's parked there, right?
Yeah.
And Michael's telling you that his friend needs a car, is that right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So he brought his friend over.
And that was the purpose of him coming over today?
Well, that's what, as far as
Is
I
that
know.
what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And so, was he interested in the van? Is it something that
He
he
said
wanted?
he was, but he didn't, I mean, the car sat there for 3 years.
Sure. Did he have any money to pay you today for it? Did he give you a deposit or anything?
No.
Okay.
He was driving a car, so I don't know whose car he was driving, but it wasn't my friend Michael's car anyway, I know that.
Did he offer to do anything in exchange for that vehicle? Service-wise?
Now, what would I need done?
Miss Leland, remember what I said about being honest. That's all that I'm asking of you. I want you to be honest with me.
Well, I don't know anything about why he's in handcuffs. I don't know anything about this except...
Did y'all ever go anywhere today when he came to look at the van? Did y'all go anywhere, or did you stay there at the house?
No, we never stayed at we were down in the street, but that was it.
Drove down to the end of the street, is that what you said? For what?
I don't know. He wanted to talk away from Michael. I don't know why.
Okay.
So, we've asked you to be honest with us, so we're going to be honest with you.
Okay.
Okay. This gentleman that I just showed you a picture of, he's an undercover police officer.
And he said...
So you sat in that car...
My friend said he's known him for years because they were in jail together.
That gentleman's an undercover police officer.
So how did he get up with...
I called him. I called that police officer to come up here and come sit with you and see what you had to tell him. Okay?
I don't understand all this.
The picture you just saw was from the video surveillance system that officer was wearing.
Yeah. Well, why was he doing that with Michael?
He wasn't doing that with Michael. Michael doesn't know anything.
Then how did Michael's been talking about him for about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, Michael doesn't know that guy from that bottle of water right there.
So how did this all come about?
So we have some information that you have some problems with your brother.
What problems do I have with my brother?
And that's what I'm trying to find out.
Well, I don't have any.
If I go play the 47-minute long video from earlier today, it's going to outline all the problems you have with your brother.
I don't have any problems with my brother.
Okay.
I'm going to show you one more picture. Did you remember drawing that map today?
Doesn't look like a map to me. But I really don't understand why I'm...
Do you remember drawing this today, Louise?
Elouise.
Elouise. I asked you to be honest,
Okay, I mean, I'm trying to
and
figure out what...
now I'm being honest with you. And we're putting our stuff on the table.
Okay. Well, I just don't understand what all this is going on. I really don't.
I will put it into a simple perspective for you, okay? The gig is up, okay? There is a very extensive video and audio recording of today's events and some things that led up to today.
What led up to today?
We have you on video drawing that.
Okay, well, what, I mean, I don't understand what...
And so, hold on a second,
Okay.
okay? Everything that we're asking you about, we know to be factual at this point. What I don't understand is why. And so, there's no changing the evidence that's in this folder, or that's in these pictures, or that's in the videos on this hard drive here. That's done. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
Okay. This is your opportunity to explain to me what is so bad with your brother.
Nothing's bad with my brother.
So, I mean, you don't strike me as a merciless, hostile killer that just wants to kill somebody that didn't ever do anything wrong.
My brother's never done anything wrong to me. He doesn't have a single friend in this world. His twin sister hasn't spoken to him in I don't know how many years, but no, he's never done anything to me.
Okay. What about the topic of financial gain?
What financial gain?
The financial gain that you would be subject to receiving should your brother pass away.
I don't know that okay. He's got two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think his money. I don't think he has any money that he would come to anybody.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know what he does with his money.
You seemed a lot more confident about his money when you were talking about it on the video earlier today, and that's, I guess, why I'm a little bit perplexed.
Well, I was confident about his money.
Mm-hmm. And confident that here in the next week or so, specifically after Monday morning at 8 a.m., I think you said, you were confident that you were going to be receiving a large sum of money.
I did not say that. How would I be receiving a large sum of money?
That's what I'm asking you.
Well,
the way that you explained it is the distribution of assets and the properties that would be sold. And now you're telling me that your brother doesn't have a mean bone in his body and that you never would want to hurt him at all. So
I never said he doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He doesn't have a single friend in this world.
That's okay.
Well,
but again, it doesn't change the fact that the only side of the story we have right now is what you spoke of earlier and the evidence that's been collected up to this point. Ms. Leland, I need you to understand that the next few minutes that we have in this room together is your one and only opportunity to tell your side of the story and maybe show a little bit of remorse for making a large mistake. Okay? Because if I march you out of this room in handcuffs, it's done, and whatever narrative gets shown to the world about who you are and the decisions you made, that's done.
I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Let me see that other piece of paper in there. You know, Louise, you know what an arrest warrant is?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
This is an arrest warrant for you. This is the crime you're being charged with.
that's a crime because I talked to somebody because he said...
No. Do you understand what solicitation is? You know what solicitation means?
Well, I know the word, yeah.
You seem like a very educated woman. You've been around the world, according to you.
Yeah.
Your husband, your ex-husband.
Oh,
my
not ex, he's deceased.
Deceased, yes. Was an airline pilot?
Yes.
So you used to fly a lot?
Yes.
So you understand what solicitation is?
Yes.
Solicitation to commit first-degree murder is what this warrant is charging you with. This is what you're being arrested for tonight. It's all on that hard drive right there.
This doesn't make any sense to me, so.
Ms. Leland, I understand that you either are or are portraying that you're a little bit confused right now, but right before Dan started reading this to you here just a moment ago, you said, so it's a crime that I talked about, and I'd like to know what you're, that's what you just said, that's what I thought you, that's what I heard you say just now, so that's what did you talk to him about? I mean, can you understand any reason why this would come up other than everything that we've just laid out? Is there some drastic misunderstanding here that I'm missing?
Well, I'm missing the whole, don't understand the whole thing. Why you have, what is this person's name?
That's irrelevant.
Well, okay. Why did you arrest him?
He's not under arrest.
Oh, why is it in handcuffs?
He's not under arrest.
Oh, he's not in handcuffs.
He's an undercover officer.
Okay.
He's the gentleman you met with today.
Okay.
That recorded this video that we showed you your picture on, that you discussed this with. We didn't just randomly come to your house for no reason tonight, okay? This is the end of that investigation. This is the conclusion of it, right here,
What do you mean,
right
that
now.
investigation? Why was he investigating me?
Because you did this. This is signed by a judge. We have proven to a judge that we have probable cause to charge you with this crime. So we are at the end of our investigation.
Your name has been on our desk for weeks.
So
you've been on for a week?
For weeks, yes.
So you've been dealing with this person for a week? I mean, why?
You can forget all about him, okay? He works for us.
Okay,
He's
but
with the
why?
police. Because we have to prove this right here, which you did today.
We received credible information, and you understand that you have a cell phone on you, right? You communicate with your cell phone, right?
I beg your pardon?
You communicate with your cell phone
Yeah.
sometimes, right? Okay. You know that nothing is secure on a cell phone anymore.
Right.
Okay. All it takes is one little slip, and the whole world knows what you're talking about. Okay. So you understand why this might have originally ended up on our radar, and why we might have had some more questions. Some of the conversations that you were having seemed a little bit out of the ordinary.
Oh, that was having with who?
If you've made a mistake, we've all made mistakes. This is the opportunity to explain your mistake, but you're not helping yourself here. The playing dumb
I'm not playing
angle of
dumb.
this. Well, I respectfully disagree with you, Ms. Leland, because you seemed sharp as a tack earlier today when this video was taken of you. Because I listened to the audio live as this was happening. You are very smart. In your own words, you have traveled and seen things that most people are never fortunate enough to see. You are well educated. You went to a prestigious school. Okay?
Yes, I have.
So, it's my job as a detective to find out who I'm talking to before I talk to you, okay? And that's why when I tell you that all of these things, all these facts are stacked up here.
So, Michael says that he was in jail with this guy for years. So you're saying that's not true?
That's correct. That's not true.
That's not true.
That sounds very, because
What do you know about Michael's history?
what do I know? That he worked for,
No, I mean his legal history. You said that he had been in the pen at some point, right? He had been in some trouble at some point in time, right?
Well, he told me a lot of trouble up north.
Right.
And then moved.
Is that the reason that you hired him to work at your wolf farm?
No, because he.
Was it something, were you trying to give him an opportunity, maybe to overcome his past?
Well, yeah, that way, but not.
Right. In the time that he worked for you, did you feel that he was a credible person?
Well, he had a lot of medical problems. But yeah, he tried.
Okay. Do you know what the word credible means?
Yeah, but I'm saying he.
So, hold on. Let's just take this a step at a time. In your own words, what does credible mean?
Believable, I guess.
Truthful, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. You feel that Michael is a truthful individual?
Well, he certainly was truthful about about being in jail and up north and
Right. And in the time
trying to improve himself. I mean, to
right.
stay out of trouble.
And now you had some other employees over the years as well that kind of had some similar background, right? And you were trying to give everybody a new lease on life, basically? trying to give them an opportunity to work? I mean, I commend you if that's the case. I'm
Well,
just
yeah,
asking.
I mean, yeah, but not anybody else that was in jail, but certainly people, yeah.
People that had their history, their
Yeah.
past. Okay. All right. Did you feel like because of Michael's past, you could trust him to confide in him about your life? And I don't just mean this incident, but just in general. Was he somebody that you trusted to talk to if you needed help with something, if you wanted to talk about something that was going on in life? Is he somebody that you could turn to?
I don't think I turned to anybody.
No. I mean, everybody's got to talk to somebody. It's human nature. When I have a bad day, I come and talk to Dan.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it. And again, let's take this incident out of the equation altogether. Going back to your friendship or your professional relationship with Michael, is he somebody that you would trust if you had to go to him with a secret?
I never thought about going to somebody with a secret. I mean, that's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was, but I sounded from what he said back then that he'd spent most of his adult life in jail for different things and all, and he was trying to get a fresh start with his, I guess his sister and her husband have a business and they've done very well, and he was trying, and he's staying on a trailer on their property. And,
So here's what I'm going to tell you is what I think.
Okay.
All right. I think that you took advantage of Michael's history and the fact that he is an ex-convict. And I think that you thought he would be somebody that would help you out with doing the unthinkable.
Well, I
think that's why you went to him. Do you remember the time?
I didn't go to him. What do you mean?
Oh, well, I know for a fact that's not true. Do you remember the time you went up to the hospital to visit him after his surgery here recently?
I went up to the hospital to visit him?
Yep, after he had surgery. In fact, I think you actually sent him a text message about it.
I didn't go to the hospital.
The rehab, whatever, the facility that he was at recovering. You went and visited him, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. See, the unfortunate thing is not everybody on the outside knows the friendship that you and Michael have. And so you made the mistake of talking about something a little too loud and got the attention of the wrong person. And that's what has ultimately led to the culmination of everything that's in this file and where we are today. Okay? And so what started out as a tip of something concerning led to you sitting in a car today with an undercover cop with cameras and microphones all over the place and listening to you put out a hit on your brother. And so once again, before Dan and I get up and walk out of this room with you in handcuffs, because I'm tired of being you acting like you don't know anything I'm talking about, okay? This is your one and only opportunity remaining to be truthful. And I'm asking you that you please do that. You're 81 years old, right?
Not, yeah,
81, almost 82, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I hope for your sake that you have lots of years left to seek forgiveness for what has happened and try and overcome this and be a better person. But let's be real. Is this something that you want to go take with you when you walk out of this room tonight? Get it off your chest.
Get what off my chest?
The truth. That's all I'm asking you for. I'm not here to pass any judgment on you. I just want the God's honest truth as to what happened and what led up to this that was so bad that you felt the need to solicit somebody to commit murder.
Nothing has happened bad. Nothing.
Okay. So what I'm getting is you are just a cold-blooded killer that wants your brother killed because you just simply have nothing better to do.
I don't want my brother killed.
That's not what that video said earlier today. Be honest, Miss Leland.
Well, I don't, like I say, I just don't understand. This seems to be very, very confusing.
I think what's confusing you is you're wondering where it all went wrong and how we found out.
No, you told me how you found out, so.
Well, to a degree. I think that's why you're confused.
Confused on how you got caught.
Well,
Everybody's always sorry when they get caught.
And the worst part of this is that you're not even sorry. Because no matter, we're sitting here showing you physical evidence. I promise you, we are not ones to make something up. This is not a bluff. Okay? We are sitting here showing you physical evidence, showing you pictures of you in a car. I just took that picture off this hard drive from a video that's, I think it was 47 minutes long, of you in that car. Or leading up to it and afterward, okay? You weren't in the car quite that long, but regardless, we have a map that you drew. And like I said, Dan just said here, people aren't sorry until they get caught. And here you are caught, red-handed, marched in here in handcuffs, and you're still not sorry. What do you think that paints of you for the rest of the world to see?
I haven't,
You know, you strike me as somebody that I could probably sit on the porch and have a glass of tea with and hang out with. You seem like a nice lady. I enjoyed our conversation when we were at your house earlier when the deputies were there with us. And I think it's really unfortunate that we're going to have to leave this room tonight with me thinking differently of you. Instead of me saying you're a nice lady that made a mistake, I'm going to leave here saying, wow, you really are just a cold-blooded killer.
I'm not a cold-blooded killer. But I've never hurt anybody, anything. I don't know.
Well, I would assume that's why you wanted Michael to facilitate having the dirty work done for you. So that way you could go rest with that conscience that you didn't kill somebody, you just had somebody else do it.
I've already quoted some of your own words back to you. So you know we're telling the truth about your deceased husband being a pilot and how you used to fly. Betsy used to run triathlons too.
Yeah.
That's not anything someone could guess. Didn't you mention to Mike in the car that you used to run triathlons?
Is that right? I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
No. Well, I'm not saying I did or didn't, but I just don't see how that's important.
What's going on Monday? What's supposed to happen on Monday?
I know on Tuesday we're supposed to take the car to Tuesday.
They're supposed to take your car on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because, is it John took the light out of the car, the security light?
Right.
Now the car doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Supposed to get towed on Tuesday. You supposed to go somewhere on Monday though? Wasn't Mike supposed to come over early in the morning? Because your brother sleeps in the morning?
Mike.
Mm-hmm. The guy you met in the car today.
Oh, Mike. Oh, okay.
Yeah, his name's Mike.
And
The other Mike.
Yeah. Okay, Michael and
Yeah.
Mike. Okay.
So, Elouise, what I'm trying to tell you is, we're telling the truth. We know what happened today. We're trying to give you an opportunity to be truthful with us, to be honest, show a little bit of remorse. I can't imagine my sister planning to have me murdered and meeting with people, offering them money or a van.
Well,
I think I'd more valuable than a van.
yeah, the vans. I mean, when
Determining what day.
When he was talking about the van, I was thinking a van that sat there for 3 years. I don't know if.
I think you do. Like Detective Adolph has said, we're going to leave the room. And that's going to be your last opportunity to explain your side of all this. If you don't do that, the next time your story is told, it's going to be to a jury, and it's going to be on that video with you in the car drawing this map to where your brother's bedroom is, so that Mike can go in and kill him and get the van as payment.
That doesn't seem to make much sense, does it?
I don't know. Okay.
Does that make any sense that a van that's, my brother paid $500 for 3 years ago, drove out to California, drove back, that somebody's, does that make any sense to you?
Did it make any sense to you? Or see, what's funny to me is about 5 hours and 24 minutes ago, to be exact, you know, you had talked about, it's okay, you can get the cap in a little bit. Look at me right now.
Okay.
I want you to look at me when I talk to you about this, okay? A little over 5 hours and 20 minutes ago, when the gentleman there in the car with you talked to you about how
all it was 5 hours ago?
Mm-hmm. When he talked to you about how this was
Just so bizarre.
It's bizarre that you got caught. I know that's what you're feeling.
No, I don't think that's, just doesn't make any sense.
Well, is there some ulterior motive with using something like insulin? Or was it just because you wanted him, he's a miserable person, and you just want him to be able to go peacefully? You can be honest with me, Elouise.
Like I say, the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. I've known Michael for so many years, and this all of a sudden this is, I mean, not that I've known him for so many years, I mean, it's just...
I understand that you're in shock about that right now, about the fact that you feel like the security net, the safety net that you had just totally collapsed without warning. And now here you were today, 5.5 hours ago, sitting in the car with an undercover cop, and you probably feel like you've been a little bit bamboozled, right?
Well, I
so
think,
once again, I don't...
It just doesn't make, I just think it's all, you all did an awful lot of...
research.
And stuff for what?
For this. So that an innocent person would not wind up dead.
Well, I don't see how...
And here you are sitting in front of me, looking me right in my eye, stone cold, showing zero remorse for what I have you on video doing. Soliciting someone to commit murder. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. You're exactly right. And that is why you want him dead. So that you can get your half and his half.
There's no written agreement.
I bet Ireland is real nice, isn't it? You ever been?
Ireland, not myself.
No? You got family there?
Well, my daughters were just... No, I haven't been to Ireland, no.
Oh, that's not what I asked the second time. Do you have family there? Or
No.
friends?
No.
No? You sure?
No, Ireland, no.
Have you ever had any dreams or goals of moving to Ireland? Get a fresh start? New lease on life?
I'm thinking about going to a lot of different places, but
Like where?
Big one.
Like where?
Like places that are cheaper than Ireland.
Ireland's pretty cheap.
Well, it depends in different areas. I mean, I've just been doing a lot of reading. I don't know anything myself.
If I could take this and tear it up right now and say, have a good night, where are you going to go? If you could leave Citrus County, pick anywhere else on the map, where would it be?
My concern is, which concerns a lot of people, is what's happening to this country, what it's going to be in the future. But that's not...
Right, that's a valid concern. I wake up every day. I think I speak for Dan too. Wake up every day and feel concerned about where our country's going.
Yeah, when you see what's people getting, I mean, but anyway.
Yeah.
I think it could get really, really bad.
What were you going to say? People getting killed? Is that what you're going to say?
I'm thinking about one person in particular. It's in the news a lot now. It's just really heartbreaking.
Yeah, who's that?
The woman, her last name's Good. The woman who was shot.
Mm-hmm.
3 kids.
It is heartbreaking, isn't it? It's tragedy. Yeah. Yeah, so's this. If you don't have anything truthful to tell me, I think I'm going to go ahead and walk out of this room and we're just going to do what we have to do. So, is there anything else?
Well, I just don't see...
Okay.
I really don't see at all
I'll be back with these in just a
All
minute.
right. We've explained it all to you. I mean, I can't think of another way to explain it to you. How long have you and your brother been working together? You had the dog farm business together, or was that just yours?
That was mine.
That was yours. You worked for you at the dog farm?
What?
He worked for you there?
No, he didn't work
No.
for me there. No.
What did he do for a living?
What did he do for a living?
Yes.
Well, he had worked for a company for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
But since he's been here, he hasn't done anything for a living.
Is he retired?
I guess he'd say he's retired, yeah.
How long have you lived up here?
It's been about 20 years now, I think.
If you don't mind me asking, when did your ex-husband pass? Your former husband?
Well, that's when I moved up here after he died.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
I was down in Miami.
Yes.
What happened down there?
What happened?
Yeah. How did your husband pass?
Well, he died of a heart attack.
Oh, the heart attack.
Well, I mean, pilots are very
Stressful.
stressful. And then it's a big change to all of a sudden be retired when you're used to everything being, perfect, everything, life depending on everything you do, and then all of a sudden you're retired. I think that's.
Yeah. So how long did he fly as a pilot?
For a number of years, he retired.
And then he retired, and it's usually what they say, the high stress jobs like cops, firefighters, airline pilots, those high stress jobs, 5 years after you retire is about your life expectancy.
Yeah.
Because you go from all the high excitement down to nothing.
Yeah, so it's probably maybe 2 or 3 years.
How old was he, if you don't mind?
Well, he was young.
He was young. How old?
But he was older than any man. But he said he was older than any man in his family had lived.
Right.
So, but he was
How old was he?
okay, probably about 60.
60.
I'm saying because we're about the same age.
Right.
And I was.
Did the medical office down there, the medical examiner's office, find something unusual in his heart attack?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so.
So then you moved up here after that. John, you've been with John said like 15 years. You
Well,
and
it
John
sounds
been
about
together?
well. That's friends.
Friends. You guys aren't like
No.
boyfriend, girlfriend.
No.
You're just friends. You're really good friends. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's yeah. I mean, we've been friends, but he needs to be wanted. He needs to feel like he's.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think. So it worked out for both of us. I had somebody who could take care of a lot of things, and he needs to be needed.
How long has Stan been living with you, your brother?
Oh, off and on for at least 20 years anyway.
Where was he at before he moved in with you guys?
Well, he was married, and because I remember talking about the van, that John remembers that he bought the van in order to drive out to California to get his stuff when he got divorced out there, and then drove back, and then the van has sat there now for 3 years.
He hasn't done anything with it. What does he do all day?
He stays up most nights and sleeps during the day.
Does he have some kind of mental ailment or physical ailment, or he just...
Well, yes, he started out, in high school as being a star,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was
I'm talking about now. Is he
Well, I'm trying to get to now.
right?
Then he was, he has, anyway, I'm trying to think of the name of the disease he has. I can't think right now. But anyway, so he went from being a star to having a health issue.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So, and he's been married twice and divorced twice, and
So now he's kind of just hanging around wherever. You're older, right? You're the older sister, so
Yeah.
he's just kind of tugging along with the older sister wherever she goes.
yeah, kind of, yeah. When he was back when he was in health, he did a lot of things.
Mhm.
We did a lot of things together. And I mean, I competed in motocross, triathlons, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, you know,
You said that earlier. I heard
yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
And he tried to do, because here I was doing that, and here he's,
Right.
but he couldn't. He never could really succeed. And
Mm-hmm.
I know he bought a bike, a motocross bike, and I had a motocross bike, and then he left it outside, and somebody stole it. I mean, it was just
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
So what's he doing now? Just stays at the home, just stays at the house all day, not doing anything.
Well, no, he sleeps.
Just
He
hangs
sleeps
around,
during the
sleeps
day.
all day. Who does all the who makes all the food? Who cooks?
He cooks his own.
He cooks his own meals.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
always there though.
yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that.
You know. You're not bothered by it at all.
No, not at all. John doesn't. I don't. Well, actually, John was.
Because it's John's house,
Yeah.
and you live there with John.
Well, now that I've sold my house,
Right.
yeah. But I'm waiting for the house next door. That
Who owns the house next door? Is that yours or is that Stanley's?
no, not Stanley. Stanley doesn't have anything. I mean, he's got. Here he was making good money. I don't know what. But he doesn't spend money on anything, so I don't know what he has or doesn't have.
Where is? How does he get money? How does he make a living? Does he get a retirement check?
Yeah,
or
I'm
what's he
sure.
get?
Oh my God, I know he does. Yeah, sure he does.
How do you get your living?
Yeah, I get this retirement, or whatever you want to call it. I'm getting cold in here. Yeah, I get retirement, yes.
Retirement. Okay. But Stanley's always there. Being a pain.
Beg pardon?
Being a pain.
No, not at
No.
all. He gets out, he stays up at night, he sleeps all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not,
What are you doing during the day?
what am I doing right now? What I'm doing is,
What do you? Yeah. What's your typical day? I mean, he's in sleeping. He's in sleeping. What do you do?
well, right now, what I'm doing is, because I've got neuropathy, is that I'm going to the gym every day, because that seems to be,
Mm-hmm.
I've got a wonderful doctor here that I had for years, and everything was
Mhm.
fine. Until, I went to him, I said, my feet are just burning, and then he's just, so you got neuropathy, he gives me a prescription. And here I thought this doctor was,
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with what we're talking about now, but he's was my doctor for years, and I really trusted him. And then people started telling me that I, which I could see, was I was struggling for words and everything. And then I went and looked up the prescription he gave me, and that's the side effect of the prescription. So I stopped taking it, so that's what I've been doing now is,
Typical. The side effects are worse than what
yeah,
was made to treat.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to the gym, because I found that the one thing that absolutely worked was the gym with the,
The elliptical machine
yeah.
goes like
Yeah,
this.
yes.
Yeah.
I would go there just having trouble walking,
Mm-hmm.
and get off that, and I can walk fine, and now it has spread up to my knees. Now I am working with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first thing I did when I found out that this prescription, which is the only thing that really seems to be available for it was causing these problems. So then I called every doctor within a driving range that said neuropathy, and everyone said they were backed up, for weeks, for a day, and all. And then so then I kept doing. Then I started talking. Anyway, and it came down to thinking, well, I could just accomplish the same thing myself. So that's what I've been focusing on is.
Well, this offer to that gentleman to kill your brother. That's what this is. I'm asking someone to kill my brother. That's what this warrant says. Help me understand.
Yeah, I don't understand at all.
You do.
I don't.
You're a very intelligent lady. You understand. You know. There's no more playing it off. The next time somebody hears your story, it is going to be that you wanted to kill your brother. If you don't tell us now that there was a reason behind it, that you're sorry, you care about your brother, and you made a mistake. Mistakes happen, it's okay. But if you don't tell us, no one's ever going to know that. They're going to know what we play on that video. That's all they're going to know.
Well, I don't know how this came about. I really don't. No, I don't.
It doesn't matter how it came about.
Well, it does matter.
It doesn't matter how it came about. It came about because you said the words. You know what I'm telling you is the truth. I've been straightforward with you. All the things that we've shown you, it's all stuff that happened from today. You know it's the truth. You can't make it go away at this point. I can't make it go away at this point. It's done. I can see that you're sorry. I see that in your eyes right now. It's just hit you. The reality of where you're at just hit you.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
but I feel like this is just a setup. I don't know how I got into this. I really don't.
You said the words. This is what you said that got us to come talk to you.
But how'd you send that person out?
Because you said this. You didn't say this, the big legalese. You said you wanted somebody to kill your brother. That's what this is. You said that.
Is there a restroom here?
There is.
I'm gonna have to go.
Okay. Give me a minute. I have to get somebody to walk you down here. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Don't even interrupt you.
Well, that's all right. I know you've been drinking your water. Now's your chance.
Chance to do what?
Chance to show me that you're sorry for trying to get your brother killed.
Well,
You set it up. Elouise,
It wasn't. Nothing was
you
going to
set it
happen.
up.
Nothing was going to happen.
When was it supposed to happen?
Nothing was going to happen.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
What did you want? What did you want him to do to kill your brother? What did you tell him you wanted him to do?
What did I tell him? About?
Yeah. How did you want Mike to do it? How did you want him to kill your brother?
This doesn't make any
How
sense.
did you want him to kill your brother?
Do you think that somebody's going to do, somebody that I don't know, that doesn't know me, is going to do for a car that hasn't been
How
driven?
did you want him to kill your brother?
Nothing was going to happen.
How did you want him to kill
What do you mean,
your
how did I
brother?
want him to?
You asked him to do a certain thing to kill Stanley. What was it you wanted him to do to kill Stanley?
I don't.
You said it on the phone.
What do you mean on the phone?
When you talked to Mike on the phone, Mike was sitting right in that room and we were all listening.
When I was talking to Michael, you mean?
Yes.
My friend Michael.
Yes. Michael has a conscience. Michael's a human. He has a conscience. He's not going to kill somebody for you.
Well, then what's all this thing then about?
Because Michael found his buddy Mike, the truck driver. And you asked Mike to do it.
I don't.
How did you ask
I
Mike?
never even.
What did you tell Mike how you
This
wanted
is
him
not-
to
that's-
kill
This doesn't
Stanley?
make any sense now. How many mics are there?
There's two. But the other Mike is a police officer. How did you,
The one, okay,
the guy you talked to today,
is a police officer.
how did you want him to kill Stanley?
Nothing was going to happen. Nothing.
How did you want him to kill Stanley?
He wasn't going to do anything.
No, because he's a good person. But you wanted him to. You asked him to. How did you ask him to do it? Pick one of four, because you gave up 4 different ways.
I did.
Yes, you did. The words came out of your mouth, Elouise. We all heard them.
I don't know how you would go.
We showed you the picture.
I know. I'm just
I
saying.
showed you your drawing. You showed that guy.
And you said-
you showed that guy how to get in the house, how to get to Stanley's room, so he could kill him. How did you tell him to kill him?
Nothing was going
How
to
did
happen.
you tell him to kill him? You set all the plans into motion.
No,
You
I
made
didn't.
all the plans. You arranged to
didn't.
pay him.
Rings to pay him? No, I did a vehicle that hasn't been driven in 3 years.
You
Is that
offered
the-
it to him.
He asked me about it. I didn't offer it to him. He asked me.
You offered it to him.
He asked me about the car.
How did you want him to kill Stanley?
Why are you asking me this when nothing was going to happen?
You asked him to kill Stanley.
I did not ask him to kill Stanley.
You did. There were a couple of different ways you asked him to kill Stanley.
And he was going to do it. You think that's believable?
What's believable is I heard you ask him to kill Stanley multiple times. Multiple times. We told you. I already told you this has been going
And
on.
he's a complete stranger.
Because you wanted Mike to do it. Mike's not going to do it. Your friend Michael that worked for you at the farm, he's not going to
Of
do
course
it.
not. You never said you would.
No. He told you he'd find somebody for you, though.
Oh, he didn't?
He did.
No, he
You
didn't.
sat with him in the car today.
He didn't find him.
Yeah, he did.
How did he find him? Run an ad in the paper and say,
Told you he was his buddy, right? He was his buddy from prison.
well, that wasn't true.
It isn't now. Now that we've told you it's not true. But that doesn't take away from what you asked him to do and the way you asked him to do it.
And he was going to do it for, that doesn't make any sense at all.
It's what you agreed to. It's what you agreed to.
I agreed that he would get a car that sat there for 3 years. And he was going to, that's ridiculous.
It's what you agreed to. You agreed for him to kill Stanley.
For a car that sat there for 3 years. This doesn't make any sense at all.
So make it make sense.
It
Help me make sense of it.
It doesn't make sense.
So that whole video was me just imagining stuff.
No, I think it doesn't, nothing was going to happen.
This detective imagining things, Charlie imagining things,
No, I'm not.
all the other people that were listening to that was all us just imagining things.
No, but nothing was
No.
going to happen. Nothing was. It doesn't make any sense that somebody would do something like that. That's ridiculous.
So why did you ask him?
Nothing was going to happen.
Why did you ask him? Your brother's done something to you.
My brother
Your
hasn't
brother's
done
done something to you. You asked somebody
My brother
to
has
kill
not
your brother.
done. My brother has never done anything to me. My brother's he's a
Then why
pathetic
don't-
person.
He's a pathetic person.
Well, I mean, I
How
think he is.
How is he a pathetic person?
Somebody who stays up all night and then sleeps all day and doesn't do anything. I think.
If your brother's done something to you, that
My
never
brother hasn't done it.
that never goes away.
My brother's never
That
done
never
anything.
goes away
My
for
brother
us.
has never done anything to me.
That's not what the rest of you is telling me.
Well, he's never done anything to me.
But he's a pathetic person, and you want him to go away.
Well, it'd be nice, but he doesn't have any place to go. I mean, he could if he wanted to, but anyway, I imagine.
But you came up with a plan to get him to go somewhere,
Well,
6 feet under.
and somebody's going to do that for like I keep saying the same thing. You think somebody's going to do that?
Did you know, sorry, but did you know today's meeting was just kind of, it wasn't going to happen, but you had
Yeah.
it anyways?
Well, it was ridiculous.
I know. It seemed ridiculous.
I mean, ridiculous. I keep saying the same thing. For a car that sat in the yard for 3 years, a
Yeah.
car that hasn't even, the engine's never been started on it.
So I mean, when you got in the car, you knew right away this is just, I'll just go along with it, but, and what was he wanting to do? He was saying he was going to do something for that car. He was claiming he was going to do what?
Well, they say that the whole thing didn't make any sense.
I
at
know,
all.
it didn't make sense. It didn't make any sense to any of us. It was agreed upon that he was going to smother your brother, I think, for $3,000 car or whatever it is.
It's not
$500 car, how much is it?
I have no. I mean, I think the car is worthless.
Oh, but
I
it was
mean-
like agreed upon that he was going to.
I don't think there was any agreed.
You think he was lying to you
About what?
about doing whatever he was going to do for the car?
Well, it doesn't make any sense, does it?
No. But you talked about it.
Well, the car doesn't sit out for 3 years and be worth anything.
Well, you showed him the car. You took him back to the house and let him see the car.
Well, he looked through. I mean, the whole thing was, I mean, it was just so ridiculous. He didn't even go look at the car. Just, oh, the car's there. Well, the whole thing is just.
So what I'm trying to get at is nothing was going to happen.
No, nothing was.
You guys made a plan, but you knew that it was just a fantasy, really, I guess.
We didn't make a plan.
You didn't make a plan at all?
Well, I mean, I don't remember making a plan. The whole thing was just.
But you said nothing was going to happen, implying that you guys talked about something, but you knew that it was too good to be true, pretty much.
Well, ridiculous when he says he does this for whatever amount is. He said $18,000, but he'll do it for a car that's sat out for 3 years.
Yeah, I would agree. And then, I mean, and especially the way that he was going to do it, because if you're going to, smothering somebody is not worth a van like that, or shooting somebody in the head is not worth something like that. But he wanted to get, where did he want to get back to? Wasn't he on his way somewhere?
Said something.
Was it Florida or was it North Florida?
Well, I don't know.
Tennessee?
Doesn't.
No. And some money was given to him or to somebody for gas?
I gave some money to Michael for some gas, but not enough to drive up there, wherever it was.
How much did you give him?
I have given him over the last. I've given him some money at different times because I felt bad that his sister is wealthy and he's staying in a trailer there, and yes, because he did work for me at one time, and he was. That's the only reason I even had to be dealing with him.
Yeah, I understand that, but so these detectives here, they were, trying to just get something across to you. I know nothing was going to happen, and thank God nothing did happen. Do you agree?
Of course.
Right, because if we were in a situation to where this guy that you met today and drove down to the end of the road and then went back to the house to show the van, if it was somebody that ended up killing your brother and we found out about it, you would be going to jail for murder. Accessory to murder, right? And that's the worst of the worst. Luckily, we didn't get to that point. It was just talked about today about coming up with a plan, but nothing was going to happen because the plan was too good to be true, is
Well,
what
not
you're
too
telling
good to
me.
be true. The whole thing was just ridiculous.
Yeah, nobody's going to go smother somebody for a van that's been sitting for 3 years.
I mean,
It didn't make sense.
no, that doesn't make sense.
And especially shooting somebody. I mean, that's horrific.
Did he say that? I don't remember.
Oh, I think he might have said something, or maybe there were a couple ways.
I know I didn't say.
No, what
I don't even know how he got into. I mean, the whole thing seems so ridiculous.
Well, it's, but like I said, thank goodness we're not at murder,
Well, yes.
right? Because if the wrong person got this information, you would be in a different situation. Here is just solicitation to commit murder is what the charge is.
But what? I don't have any money to pay anybody, so what? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, does it?
I agree. And that's why we're just trying to figure out, well, what, if you didn't have money to do it.
So how did he get?
How did he get what?
So how did he get? I mean, I don't understand how he got involved in this. I mean, I know that I understand that you all, okay, but it doesn't.
I know
It doesn't make any sense at all.
And I'm going to help you make it make sense, just like they did, and hopefully it works. But we found out that you were having some issues with your brother. Big or small, who knows?
I've never had any issues with my brother.
And you reached out and tried to find somebody to get rid of your brother in some way.
No.
And you agreed.
My brother is a miserable person, but that's
fine.
his life.
Yep. And then you agreed to get.
He stays up all. I don't very rarely see him.
Mm-hmm.
It's his. I think he's got a. It's kind of a wasted life, but that's his. So I don't know.
Yeah. Then you got in the car with them this morning or afternoon. You went.
Whatever it was.
What?
Oh, I guess I'm trying to remember. I guess it was afternoon somehow. I was thinking it was early.
And then you started talking to this guy, the truck driver. Whatever he does for a living, I don't know, right? And then come to find out, you guys talked about a plan. Went back to your house, showed him the van. He brought up
from a distance.
From a distance, which is probably a good thing. And then we reviewed all the information. The person that you were in the car with today was a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, that's what.
Undercover, just trying to figure out were you really wanting to kill your brother or not. And that's why we wanted to see that. And you said you don't want to kill your brother. But you talked about it with this guy. And you guys came up with a plan, which you thought was silly and then thought nothing was going to happen.
Yeah.
We're just confused on the why is all. We know.
I guess my brother's going to be really wondering what's.
We already talked to him.
Oh, you did?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So what did he have to say?
He's in complete shock.
That's understandable.
And he thanked the sheriff's office and said that we may have saved his life. But he doesn't know, just like we don't know why is what we're just trying to figure out. And I'd love to help answer that question for everybody. I think you've been sweet and respectful, and I think you love your brother also, as much as you think he's a miserable person. But I was just wondering, were you just trying to help him not be miserable anymore?
Well, I wouldn't do anything that
Cause pain?
No, I mean, I would. That's his life. It's not my. It's not me to determine his life. If he's happy with his life, I don't know how he can be happy with his life, but if he is, that's.
Well, unfortunately, we got to a point today that you were making that decision for him with somebody else, and
But it wasn't ever.
But I know, and that's fine. Was this like a game for you? Were you just playing around with that?
No, it's not like.
But you said it's never gonna happen. What if it did? Have you thought about that?
It's if he's happy with his life, I don't know how he can be happy with his life, but if he's happy with his life, that's.
But what if this guy killed him?
It doesn't make any. It's.
But what if he did?
He wouldn't.
Why not? Then you would be in big trouble.
Well, some complete stranger is going to go for a car that doesn't even drive. The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Would you have felt sorry if he killed him?
It's not possible.
Why isn't it? It is possible.
That he would kill my brother? But I don't think so. I don't see how it could be possible.
But what if he did? Would you be happy? Would you be sad? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I certainly wouldn't be happy. I don't think I wouldn't be. I don't think I'd be. I mean, I don't. My brother's. I very seldom see my brother. This was unusual that he was up I don't know why he was up at that time today, but
Would you say that you love your brother or no?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't. That doesn't.
I'm just wondering. I mean, some people have siblings that they're not close with and don't have that "I love you" feeling.
Well, of course. I mean, certainly in all these years, he's never. I mean, that sounds bizarre.
What?
I don't think he'd ever say he loves me. I'd say.
So he's never said he loves you, and you've
Of course not. Never.
Okay. And have you said you love? Do you? But do you? Yes or no? Do you love your brother?
I feel sorry for my brother. Like I think I said to somebody here before that, back many years ago when I was doing a lot of things, I was competing in triathlons, I was doing a lot of things, and he's 10 years younger than I am. He was doing very well, and I mean mentally until he found out he had this disease that. So that kind of, he was an athlete, and then all of a sudden, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't ever going to be. But he doesn't have a single friend in the whole world. He's got 2 ex-wives that hate him. He's got the one wife who's got 2 kids that want absolutely nothing to do with him.
He sounds like he's, the way you portray him, that he's miserable. And
well, he doesn't. I don't think he thinks he's miserable, but
well, the life, I guess. Then you think that he's miserable.
Well, I think that's the way he's always been. I mean, he was like an athlete in high school, and then all of a sudden he wasn't. All of a sudden, he was diagnosed and wasn't doing anything.
Do you think that life would be better if he passed?
For him, I don't see that he's unhappy with. I mean, he doesn't say anything about being unhappy with his life.
Would it be so? Wouldn't it be better? Would your life be better if he wasn't here anymore?
No, I don't. It wouldn't make any difference.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, he sleeps all day. I hear him in his room at night, so he's up doing, he's awake at night. But we never do anything together. I don't see that he ever gets on his bicycle and goes to the store to buy things sometimes. But
So he doesn't contribute to rent at the house.
well, he didn't for all these years. Now he is contributing to.
Oh, nice.
But he didn't. I mean, he's been there for a long time. This is so important here. Anyway, no, now he is contributing. That's between him and John.
Okay.
Got nothing to do with.
So you're not owed anything.
Oh no.
He doesn't owe you any money at all.
No. I don't owe him anything. He doesn't owe me anything.
Okay. So we've established. Okay. But worst things he really does is he stays up all night and sleeps during the day.
Well, that's not the worst. I mean, that's his life. I'm not saying that's the worst thing he does.
Does it bother you? He's not
Of course
mean,
not.
not mean to you?
No, never. He's never.
May have money? Does he have money?
He has a, I know. Yeah, he gets Social Security.
So he gets Social Security. Does he own anything?
Does he own anything?
Yes, ma'am.
He owns the car that sat out there for 3 years.
So the van today that you showed that guy was his van?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, I guess if he was no longer here, it'd have to go to somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine after 3 years that it's worth anything.
Well, I mean, if everything is worth something to somebody,
I mean,
right?
Let's say in Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now he had 2 vans. Before this one, he had one that was over at my house,
Mm-hmm.
and that the rats got into it. I mean, it was worthless. No matter whatever he paid for it, it was worthless.
Right.
And this one, I'm sure, was heading in the same direction.
Well, for somebody that doesn't have a vehicle, it would be nice. So I mean, better than no vehicle.
If it's sat for 3 years, it's probably not running. It probably would cost a lot of money to. I know the one that was over at the other house. The rats got into it. The wiring all got chewed up. It was worthless.
Is that all you had to offer today? Did you not have anything else to offer other than?
I didn't. I think it wasn't discussed. I didn't.
What do you mean it wasn't discussed?
I mean,
Miss Leland. Miss Leland.
Okay, he said he wanted.
But all you have. But what I'm saying is all you have right now. Do you have anything worth any money? Do you own anything?
Well,
that you could have gave today other than.
No, I mean.
So the van. Why was the van offered when it was your brother's?
I mean, I don't think I didn't offer it to begin with. I think he did. I don't know.
He brought it up. The guy.
I really don't remember because the whole thing was so preposterous. I don't remember. I don't know for sure, but the whole thing just doesn't make any sense.
Well, you facilitated trying to find somebody to fulfill the murder of your brother, Stan, and then it happened today.
But it wasn't.
And then you, unfortunately for you, you met an undercover detective.
Well, nothing was going to happen.
I know. We know. We know. We're trying to help you and your brother here.
Well, maybe,
that's why we were doing it to stop this.
Maybe you did help. Maybe you did help my brother. Maybe he'll.
I think we did, and
I think maybe he'll see how.
And I think we helped you see that you might have made an error in making those decisions, and thank God we didn't get to the point where he's dead.
Nothing was going to happen.
Because we were involved.
No, what was going to happen?
The stuff that you and him talked about could have happened.
Not with him.
Why not with him?
Because it would. Nothing was. I mean, because the whole thing is just.
It's okay. Where'd you go to college?
Vassar.
Okay. Anywhere else?
No.
Okay. Detective Adolph had mentioned it, and so did Detective Slingerland, but you're an educated individual. Like I said, and you've been very respectful. You haven't been rude or anything.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I don't know what there's nothing to be rude about. I mean, this whole thing is just.
But you're kind of, and we'll end here shortly so we can get this rolling. You keep saying nothing's going to happen and beating around the bush, and we have told you that we have watched and listened to everything. I was in the truck.
Yeah,
right, and then you keep just acting like none of this ever happened today. And
I'm not saying it didn't happen today. I'm saying nothing was
going to happen, but you keep just beating around the bush. I know when you got in the car, you got into the passenger seat. We all do. We watched it on video. It's live feed. It's a cop.
Yeah.
We know what you guys discussed. And the plan for the next coming days and about the van, and you're like, nothing's going to happen. Was it a mistake? Were you not thinking straight? Is he really mean and you just would like him gone from the house and we'll just tell him to move out?
It's not me.
He said he'll move out if you want him to move out.
It doesn't bother me.
So then,
I don't even see him, like I said.
When the video's played in court of you in that car, and then you get on the stand beside the judge, and they play the video, and you go, nothing was going to happen. How do you think that's going to look?
Well, look how it looked. I mean, the whole thing's so ridiculous.
I know that. But you said it. We're just trying to figure out why.
I can't tell you anything because it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you've talked to me about it. You've talked to them about it. You told me you agreed to meet with them. You told me that you agreed to meet with them. You told me that the conversation was over the murder, although it didn't make sense to you and didn't all over getting paid for a van. You were going to pay with a van.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You know,
a van that's,
you beat around the bush a lot.
I beat around the bush with.
Without telling why this bizarre meeting happened today. And we might never know what the real motive is, but it's okay.
Well, it's a waste of all your time.
Absolutely, but I am very glad, and so is your brother, that he is still alive and that you didn't meet the wrong person today. Because we would be in a different situation.
Well, I don't think there is a wrong. I don't think there's anybody that would do it, so that doesn't make. I don't think it's the wrong person. It's just bizarre.
Well, I think scheduling the meeting to have somebody killed for $100,000, $1 million, or for $5 is wrong.
Well, I don't think I.
You were coordinating it with people. I mean, what else? How else did today happen? Somebody came to us with this information, and sure enough, it was for real. Just as confused as you. Why you would want to do it, but
Well, I mean, there isn't. I mean, I say he and I, we very seldom see each other. We don't. We in all these years we've never had any disagreements. I mean, there isn't any reason.
which is bizarre to me.
The whole thing's bizarre to me. I mean, this is.
All right.
I mean, somebody out of the blue. I mean, I don't know. Like you say, it turns out to be a police officer. That just doesn't make any.
Well, the evidence will show. There's plenty of evidence in the case. We keep going in circles and never really getting to where we need to get. You've told us enough. So we're going to end up going to the jail. I don't think we really have much more to ask because they're not going to talk anymore about it and just keep saying the same stuff over and over. And
so I'm being arrested for.
Yes, ma'am. Solicitation to commit first-degree murder. What happened in the car today is the reason why you're being charged.
Okay.
All right? And you know. So, it's unfortunate, but I'm very glad that your brother is still alive.
Well, there wasn't any question that my brother's is going to be alive.
Well, you're just lucky that the guy that you were in the car with wasn't a legit criminal that needed something, and the right thing happened. Justice was served today.
The whole thing is just ridiculous.
You shouldn't have asked for help to get rid of your brother, or we wouldn't be in this situation. And that's the wrong thing to do. Yes or no? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I don't think.
What I'm here to ask is like, well, what was it? What happened? All right, I'll go get the deputy.
Okay.
Do you have anything else to say?
Well, I can say that I've got neuropathy and I cannot be in the cold, and the jail is absolutely cold. I will not survive this. So that's.
Okay, we can let the jail staff know. Okay. Can't just let you go home.
Well, you could.
You can't. You just solicited to get your brother murdered, and your brother lives there. Think it would be right to just drop you off at the house? If your brother did what you did today, would you want him in jail?
Do I want my brother in jail? No,
If he met somebody today out at the road and talked about having you murdered, what would you want to happen to him?
well, I don't think he wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it?
Yeah.
But if he did what you did today, what would you want to happen to him?
I didn't do anything today.
If he, okay. All right. You definitely will be in here in a second.
Thank you.
Yep. Elouise.
Yes.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. My patience is probably too thin for us to keep talking because I think we wasted a lot of time here tonight. We both know the truth and we're just not going to admit it, and that's okay. I still get paid the same at the end of the day. I still have a judge's signature on an arrest warrant for your arrest. So I'm going to leave you with this, and if you tell me you want to finish talking about this, I'll sit here and give you that honor for a few minutes. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and walk you out of here, okay? We've discussed a lot tonight the charge that is on this warrant, solicitation to commit murder, okay? And as we've explained to you, the facts and circumstances that are in the affidavit for the warrant, basically the information that we gave the judge that allowed the judge to sign this warrant is from what we have to go off of today.
Yeah.
Okay, meaning the video of you in the car, right? You understand that? The video of you in the car talking about it, that's what kind of, that outlines everything as to why we have this crime. Do you understand that?
Well, there hasn't been any crime. Nothing's happened.
Well, a judge wouldn't have signed this.
And nothing.
So here, it's late. You said earlier it's past your bedtime. I'm not going to make you sit here and keep saying words that are meaningless to me.
Yeah.
So the words bizarre and doesn't make sense, I think you've probably said it about 150 times tonight. I realize that this is still, you're in a state of shock right now. And so here's what I'm going to leave you with, okay? And I'm just speaking factually here. You are being charged with solicitation to commit first-degree murder because of everything that happened today. The only way that charge would go down and potentially have any outcome on the effect, on what happens as this goes on through the court system and all of that, is if you give us something else to go off of. And I'm not telling you that you can change this right now. We're right here, okay? This is done, it's signed by a judge. It does not change anything tonight. But as Sergeant Dowling and Dan and I all explained to you tonight, this is your one and only shot to tell us what happened, because the video tells everything that we need to know. That video, you might as well not even show up for court for your trial because the jury's going to watch that, and it's very damning, okay? So again, the only way that you are going to get your...
It's damning that somebody says that he'll do it for a van that sat there for 3 years.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right. So here's the deal. Did you ever ask him not to do it?
Not to do it. He
Right.
wasn't ever going to do anything.
Well, you just said that he was taking the van in exchange for doing
Well,
that. It's ridiculous to consider murdering somebody in exchange for a $500 van, right?
Well, that's...
Would you agree? I mean, that's...
Of course it's ridiculous.
Right.
It sat for 3 years. It's probably not even going to...
Agreed. So, why didn't you say no? Why didn't you ask him not to do it?
Not to do what?
Not to murder your brother?
He wasn't going to do it.
That's where we disagree.
You think
I know.
he wasn't going to do it?
I think this is really an unfortunate situation.
Well,
And I think that we're going to leave this room on uncomfortable terms because I'm not happy with where we're ending up, and I don't think you're happy with where you're about to end up.
well, I know I'm not going to be happy because I've got neuropathy and
I understand.
you don't understand. Oh, I can't hardly sleep at night because the pain is so bad.
Well, and now you add in the guilty conscience that I'm sure you're feeling deep inside, whether you want to admit it here or not. I would imagine that probably does.
I'm not feeling deep inside because I didn't do anything.
Well, and again, that comes right back to where we were about 30 minutes ago when I was in here, where either you're going to be somebody that says, hey, I screwed up and I made a mistake, or you're just going to be cold-hearted and you're going to act like this never happened and it's not going to faze you. And at the end of the day, I can tell you through all of my experience in law enforcement and the two detectives that were just in here talking to you, through everybody's experience, we know what happened. That's indisputable at this point.
Yeah.
It might as well be like DNA. There's no way around it.
I agree.
So
There's no,
if that's where we're gonna leave it, and you want to walk out of this room in denial, I'm gonna give you that opportunity to do it because you're gonna have a lot of time to think about it where you're going. All right.
there's nothing else there's nothing else you're going to do. So I mean,
Well, like I said, I mean, I will never hold back. If you explain a different way to look at this tonight, I'm going to document it. I'll write it down for the judge to read. And if it makes more sense to everybody else, back when your brother hurt you and all of
my
that.
brother never hurt me.
Well, emotionally, it sounds like there's some history there. You know what I mean? Like there's some kind of dynamic here that I don't understand because. Let's be real. You met me a few hours ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten to know you for a few hours of your life when you've got 81 years of life ahead of me today. Okay? I don't know what you've been through. And that's what I'd like to find out. What led to where we are today, where this got just so bad that you felt this had to happen.
I didn't.
But,
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Things never got so bad.
That's that word that I told you we're going to avoid the words ridiculous and bizarre.
Okay, I'm
because
sorry.
It's been too much.
Okay, my brother has his own life. I very
Right.
seldom, he sleeps most during the day. I'm busy during the day. It's very unusual that he was up tonight. I'm very happy. So what?
When you called Michael, I think maybe yesterday or the day before, it's within the last couple of days, and you told him, you asked if he was still taking his psychotic medication, right?
No.
You don't remember that?
If Michael's taking his psychotic medication?
You asked that. Because then you asked if you could crush it up and put it in the pancakes.
What?
You don't remember that?
Crush it up and put it in the
Yeah.
psychotic medicine?
Mm-hmm. You remember any of that?
I did not know he takes any psychotic medication. You talk about Michael?
That's what you said.
I said?
Yes, ma'am.
That doesn't. I've never heard of him taking any.
Okay.
He takes medication, but I never heard of him taking.
What does he take medication for? Maybe I just misunderstood.
Well, because he's been beat up a lot. He's got a lot of physical problems. He does.
Sure.
Take medications. He was saying he didn't have money to get it or something. I don't know.
Okay. Why wasn't smothering your brother the first choice?
What?
Well, earlier you said that we could, that you would have him smothered.
That I would.
Yeah, when you were talking to Mike in the car, and you said, I don't care how you do it, smother him. You talked about using a telephone cord.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, that was pretty out there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know that wouldn't have aligned with what you wanted, because I know you never wanted to hurt your brother. I don't think. I think that, like you said, he's living a miserable life.
Well, that's
and that's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
But he's living a miserable life. I mean, even John said the same thing. He lives a miserable life, right?
I mean,
we talked to him, yeah.
Well, I don't think my brother said he lives a miserable life.
Well, naturally, but you see from the outside looking in, he's living a miserable life. He's probably bringing everybody down around him. I mean, shoot, he sleeps half the day away every day, right?
Well, yeah,
And you strike me as the early to bed, early to rise kind of person, right? So, I mean, I know it would frustrate me if I saw somebody basically just being a deadbeat, you know, just sleeping their life away.
Well, that's his.
And then that's his life to live. But it all comes back to this, you know, murder is this big
But why would I?
murder is this big scary word, right? It sounds horrible, all right? But at least in my mind, there's a difference between going and blowing somebody's brains out versus taking them out of their misery with insulin. You know, insulin, they don't feel anything. And I know that's probably why that came to mind, because you don't strike me as the type that would have wanted to cause pain and torture.
Well, of course not. And I mean, I just can't believe that you all think that something was going to happen. I mean,
Well, and that's why Sergeant Dowling talked about like this. We know nothing was going to happen, and it's just fantasy talk, really, is what it comes down to. But do you understand what I mean when I say it's a difference if it's a fantasy of wanting to use insulin so somebody passes away peacefully versus a fantasy of wanting to go violently murder somebody? Do you understand what I mean by that? It's different, the way that it appears.
yeah, but I mean, the whole thing is just, why would I want to?
Well, that's, you know, we've been over those reasons, and at the end of the day, we don't have to prove your motive for anything. You had a conversation about it today with Mike in the car, on video. Okay, and that's written on a hard drive. It's already put into the evidence system. Okay, and again, I'm about to tell this deputy to put you in handcuffs and walk you out of here if we're not going to get anywhere with it.
Well, but
Okay.
what do you want me to do?
I just want you to be honest with me, Ms. Leland.
You say that I thought it would really happen? No, I didn't think.
Well,
it
no,
would.
I don't need you to say that.
Well,
That's what I'm
what do you
saying.
want me to say?
If it was just a fantasy, fine. I'll listen to you explain that. I will listen to you all night. If you want to sit here and explain to me how this fantasy goes, if you didn't think it was ever going to happen,
Of course.
that makes me feel a lot better.
Well, of course it wasn't going to happen. I
Okay,
mean,
so walk me through it. If it's just a fantasy, what
It
made you start to think about that stuff? What pushed you to the point where you felt like talking to Michael was a good idea about it? Just be honest with me, please. How did we get to where we are right now?
yeah, that's.
Did you just wake up one day and it just popped? Was it a dream that just
No.
popped into your mind?
No, I never.
Was there an argument that led up to it?
My brother and I have never had an argument.
Okay.
Like I say, I very seldom see him.
Mm-hmm. Because he sleeps a lot.
Yeah,
Right. So was this just how did we arrive at this?
Yeah, I don't
If there's a deductive reasoning here, right? So either you wanted the plot to actually have your brother killed, or this is just some silly thought that
Well, it's
probably got blown out of proportion. Silly
Yeah.
in the sense that you didn't want it to happen.
of course. I mean,
And do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
We can agree that it's just a silly thought then. Do you understand what I mean when I say the headline on woman wants to have her brother murdered is a little bit different than woman has crazy fantasy and everybody's going to say, oh wow, that's wild, and they're going to move on and forget about it, right? Do you get what I'm saying with that?
Yeah,
I'm trying to spare you of the public shame that this would bring without you giving me anything else to understand all that we have to go off of to share with the public, because you know we're a government agency. There has to be public record here. All that we have to go off of here is what's written in the warrant, and that's pretty graphic stuff.
I think it's that you sent somebody out to actually make it look like this was going to happen when nothing was.
Think about it this way: we sent somebody out to find out if you were actually wanting this done or if this was just a fantasy, right?
I wouldn't call it a fantasy.
Well, figment of the imagination, all talk, whatever you want to call it is fine. I'll call it whatever you want me to call it. But we can agree that you didn't want it to actually happen.
Well, nothing was
It
going to
was just
happen.
it was just small talk about it, right? That's all it was. Yeah.
I mean, what?
Were you uncomfortable talking to Mike in the car today about this stuff?
Well, I don't know about being. Just the whole thing, it just seemed to be ridiculous.
Kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you think about something for so long leading up to, because we know this has been a discussion for close to a year before it got to this point, and it sounds like just recently is when you really started thinking about it more and more. But after you think about it for so long, it consumes the mind, and you think about it for so long, and now when you're actually sitting face to face with somebody who, I mean, yeah, I know it kind of sucks. He was actually a cop, but he came there to talk to you about this. And
Yeah,
you,
but it was,
at least in that moment, you thought you were talking to somebody that was actually a hitman.
well, except that it was so ridiculous.
I know, but in that moment, you didn't.
Oh,
think
I
it was
normally
ridiculous.
charge
Probably threw you for a loop there, didn't it? Did it have you wondering?
Well, the whole thing, nothing made any sense.
Well, why not? I mean, it made perfect sense when we listened to it. As this was unfolding, I mean, it's you asked him for a service, and to pay him for the service, it was the car. But you knew in your mind that he didn't want that damn car. That man's in terrible shape, right?
Well, I mean,
So that's what I'm saying.
It hasn't been driven in 3 years.
Right. So you knew that it wasn't realistic for him to. It's just a car.
Yeah.
Right. And what y'all talked about, what you asked him for, something that, gosh, if you go ask some random person to do it, they're gonna either think you're crazy or, they'd go to prison for it. Right. So you knew that it wasn't gonna happen.
No. I mean,
It was just a talk. That's what I'm saying. Let's chalk it up to what it is instead of beating around the bush. We can't change what's written on the paper here. All you can change is how I feel about you when you walk out of this room. And I'd like to have respect for you when you leave here. I'll always respect you when we talk. I'll be respectful. But do you understand what I'm saying? Just lay it out for me. We're past it. It's fine. I just want to talk about it. You didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, I mean, the whole...
Today was probably... Was today getting a year's worth of emotion off your chest more than anything when you talked to him in the car?
No, it was, I mean, I don't have any problem with my brother. I mean, I don't know what...
Well, but that's where I'm not understanding why we got to this point.
Yeah, I don't either.
You don't understand it?
No.
No? Okay. If I can be honest with you, I think what's really got you bothered right now is the fact that somebody you trusted turned against you. I think that's what really has you bothered right now and caught off guard. Because I think out of all people in this world, you never thought that Michael would turn against you.
Well, I mean, I don't say the way the world is. I'm not... I mean, I don't think... I mean, I guess that's who he is. I don't know.
Do you think he did the right thing?
Michael?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was necessary. Why in the world was he pursuing all this if it wasn't?
If it wasn't what?
I mean, does Michael think this was just a big joke or what?
No, man. That's how we ended up here. Because here's the thing. Like I told you before, Michael might have a past, but he also has a conscience. And
well, then why did he?
When Michael got hemmed up before, it wasn't for killing somebody.
Pardon?
It wasn't for killing somebody when he got hemmed up before. And when you came to him, imagine how Michael felt, because he respects you. He wants to help you. But at the same time, Michael knew that he as a person was not capable of doing what you had asked him to do. It tore him up a bit when you started talking about this, and he thought for a while, he thought maybe you weren't serious, and even now, he says maybe it's still a fantasy, but either way, you said things to Michael that were concerning to him, right? And that's why the individual that went out today, Mike, that was actually a police officer.
Mike, so.
Right, that's why he went out and asked you some of those questions, and y'all had those conversations in the car earlier. And so don't you realize that kind of adds merit to Michael's statement? when Michael says, hey, this is concerning, you know, you talked to him on the phone just this past week about how to make it look natural and like an accident. I heard that conversation. That's why the insulin is being used. And again, in that moment, and the way that this is all written, it's that, yeah, you're trying to basically stage a murder so that it looks like it's natural with insulin. And the way that I'm seeing this right now is that insulin is your choice because you want it to be peaceful. You don't want your brother to suffer. And even if that's all just some far out dream that's never going to happen, you know it's never going to happen, that's all I'm trying to get you to talk to me about today. I mean, I want to know why insulin is what you chose.
Well, I don't.
I mean, have you ever done this before?
Of course not. And I don't actually remember talking about insulin. I really don't.
Oh, come on now. Sure you do. Insulin's been the one topic for the last year. Up until today when you said have him smothered, insulin is what you'd always chosen.
I honestly don't remember talking about insulin, talking about anything. I really don't.
Elouise Ruth Leland was arrested and charged with solicitation to commit first-degree murder. At the time of this video, she appears to still be waiting trial, and if she's found guilty, she'll be looking at anywhere from 10 years to life in prison. If you want more real cases, body cam footage, and police investigations, subscribe to Unfamous Files and join the Unfamous family.